What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the weirdest and most cringiest videos from all over the internet. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Hope you enjoy.
Watch this video real quick.
Okay, so parents have some concerns of some stuff they may have found in your room?
Yeah, I believe so.
And what would it be?
A human head and hand.
So that was a video of Brian Cohey after his mother found, like he said in the video, a human head and hands hidden in his room. At the time, Brian was 19 years old, and he unalived and then took apart a 69-year-old homeless man named Warren Barnes. He attacked Warren while he was sleeping under a bridge and attempted to hide some of the parts in the nearby river, but kept his head and hands for himself. Brian went to trial, and he, of course, tried the insanity plea. That did not work in his favor, and after a trial, he was convicted of first-degree murder, and he was sentenced to life in prison. It only took the jury about 2 days to deliberate this.
First of all, why is he smiling like a psycho in court? Like you're not helping your case, buddy. I mean, I shouldn't expect any sane behavior from somebody who, did what he did to a homeless man. I mean, the poor guy had it. I mean, it was already hard for him, Like, the last thing he needed in life was for somebody to behead him. I mean, he's in jail at least. And RIP to the homeless man.
Have you ever heard of something called the not deer? Because that's what we're talking about tonight. The not deer is a cryptid, we'll call it, because I don't know what else to call it, that supposedly lives mainly in Appalachia. So anywhere where the Appalachian Mountains are, that's its home. It's a creature that looks like a deer from far away, but the closer you get to it, the more things that you start to see wrong with it. That can be multiple antlers, eyes in the front of its head instead of the side of its head, limbs that bend the wrong way, and sometimes deer that walk on hind legs. Now, there are deer that get up on their hind legs so that they can grab something off of a tree to eat. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about deer that walk on their hind legs like a human does. Most of the people who have encountered this are driving on a road at night through a remote area, and they see a deer and they're like, oh, I need to slow down. There's a deer and it might jump out in front of me. And then the closer they get to it, the more things that they start to see are wrong with it. And everyone describes this feeling of dread, like they know something is wrong. The reason they're called not deer is because you know that's a deer, but it doesn't look like a deer. The best way I can describe it is if you are looking at something that you know has always looked like a certain thing, but there's just something off about it and you can't place it. Now, I haven't heard or seen any stories where this deer has done anything to harm people. It's just seeing something like that and you don't know what it is because it's not natural. So if you're ever out in the woods in the night, make sure you are keeping a lookout for the not deer.
Excuse me, I will call the cops.
This video has been making its way around the internet lately, and the story behind it is so morbid. If you have not been following along, allow me to catch you up. So the woman here in the baseball cap, her name is Katrina McLean, and she's got kind of a dark hobby. No, it's not what you think. She likes to make creepy dolls. Like these kind of dolls. She says she likes to make creations that shock the mind and the soul. So that's not a big deal. I mean, I'm into all kinds of creepy things, so you know, you do you. What did she do that people are all up in arms about? Well, apparently there is a special ingredient to these creepy dolls that Katrina constructs, and the secret ingredient is people. Desecrated remains, to be exact. Allegedly. Katrina, along with 6 other people, are alleged to be a part of a very sordid and illegal operation that steals human remains that were donated to a medical school. Harvard Medical School, actually. And she's alleged to have a skull and some human skin in some of her dolls. The morgue manager was running this black market operation to sell parts before they were cremated and returned to the family. And the story is still continuing to unfold.
I happen to enjoy this video because it is a reminder that sea lions are just beach bears that decided to do the land thing part-time. That's not a joke, they're on the dog side of the carnivora cookout, right next to bears and the weasel crash outs. And you don't realize how big they get until they make you severely question the integrity of your vessel. Stellar sea lions are furry flippered boulders that get to 9 feet and over 2,000 pounds of pinniped. They didn't get the lion name for nothing, and you're looking at the main reason why. Especially the ones in South America, they're the ones that earned that name. See, they be lying, they get bear in the face and bear in the waist, and I'm talking about their diet. Don't think they only eat fish, they'll run down penguins, they'll pop the heads off of seagulls, I've seen them do it. They'll rip the throats out of sharks and eat them. Don't think that relationship's one-sided. There's the disrespect of this picture, and they'll even commit friendly fire because some sea lions will attack and eat baby elephant seals. To be fair, adult elephant seals will sometimes eat sea lions, so just know they fold more than fish. And the same way land bears pull up for our garbage, in some places like Chile, you got sea lions spawning at fish markets for free eats, which actually causes them to get into turf wars with the dogs already there. Like y'all call them sea puppies, maybe y'all need to see them next to puppies to realize Gulf grizzlies are not a joke. They're not evil, just animals, but wild animals I swear y'all don't be taken seriously. Like this video should not exist in any reality, and she's lucky to still have a face. But yeah, the more you know, and that's why.
I was gonna say something funny, but the video with the little girl getting almost bit in the face made me angry, to be honest, and I'm not gonna make no jokes anymore because it pissed me off. Because this is literally a the grizzly bear of the sea, and you have your little toddler this close to it. I mean, what do you expect? It's very bad parenting, and yes, they do look evil to me. Like, I don't like these things, and I'm an animal lover, but there's exceptions.
The Cannibalism Iceberg. This picture contains a list of disturbing cases from the least disturbing to the most. View at your own risk. This video is for educational purposes only. Welcome to Tier 2. Today we're going to be talking about Alexander Sawney Bean, or better named as the King of Cannibalism. If you aren't familiar with Sawney Bean, trust me, I wasn't either until I started looking this stuff up, and then I quickly realized we were probably not taught this stuff for a reason. Sawney Bean was born in the 16th century, and he met his beloved wife named Black Douglas, and apparently she was so ugly that people thought she was a witch. The couple were like a really dark and sinister version of Bonnie and Clyde, and eventually they found a cave where they could hide in and start a family. The couple had a baby, and since Sawney was a new father, he realized that he actually had to feed his family, so he came up with a brilliant idea to start eating human meat. As he introduced this new way of living to his wife, they loved it, and their family thrived. The couple would wait outside for travelers traveling alone at night, and they would pop out, and before the guy could even blink, he was dead and they were eating his body. Fast forward about 20 years, I actually have to look at the screen to tell you the amount of children they had. Sawney and his wife had 14 children, 18 grandsons, and 14 granddaughters. Let's just say they kept it all in the family, if you know what I mean. The cave that once housed just 2 individuals now housed 46 brutal, flesh-hungry humans. Their attacks grew larger and larger, and throughout the course of all of this happening, their family ate over 1,000 people. 46 of them would wait outside, and they would see travelers traveling alone at night, and they would jump out of the bushes, and before they could even blink, they would eat them alive. Now, the story has a weird ending because the king realized what this family was doing, and he sent 400 soldiers over there, and they buried every single member of this family alive. This is the story of Sawney Bean, and make sure to like and follow for Tier 3 tomorrow.
Do you think they're creating entire universes, or investing in anti-aging, or hoarding wealth like a dragon guarding its gold? Peter Nygard was no exception, and so he took up the mantle of investing in stem cell research, which is controversial. So Peter Nygard is obsessed with doing it, and he has modeled his life so that there are dozens of women surrounding him at a time. Do you see where this is going yet? According to reports, multiple women have accused Peter Nygaard of forcing or coercing them into getting pregnant, terminating those pregnancies, not because he didn't want children, but because he wanted the fetuses. And he would use those in stem cell experimentation and to inject himself as a form of anti-aging treatment. Yes, many women allege he believed the embryos could be used to keep him young. It's okay if you need to sit with that for a minute, because I know I did. Because like I said, I think that is the most evil shit I have ever heard. Peter Nygaard was eventually caught after decades of allegations after multiple women came forward. In 2024, he was sentenced to 11 years in prison. It makes me genuinely happy to put a bow on stories like this, because there's something deeply satisfying about watching people who abuse their power being held accountable.
I truly believe that there's just some secrets that shouldn't be dug up, because what was underneath this Victorian hotel had laid buried underground there for more than 80 years. In February of 2019 at the Crescent Hotel, there was a woman who was landscaping the yard to prep the hotel for some extra stuff that they were going to add into the backyard. And while they were digging around, they heard a little clink and realized what seemed to be medical jars. So a formal dig by archaeologists started in that April. They carefully excavated that trench and ended up uncovering hundreds of glass bottles. Some looked like they had this odd chemical mixture inside of them. Other ones looked like they had actual medical specimens inside of them, like preserved human tissue and body parts. They found surgical tools, a formula spoon, a bone saw. In total, more than 500 artifacts were discovered, and these items were strongly linked to a man by the name of Norman Baker, who ran the hotel as a cancer hospital back in the 1930s with no prior medical training. And these jars look like a match for Baker's original advertisements for the hospital. They even discovered a piece of old film, like one of those ones that are on a reel, and it said "Before Baker treatment." After the dig, the bottles were cleaned, cataloged, and stuck into the basement of the hotel, with still hundreds, if not thousands of more that haven't even been gone through that are still at that digging site. And it seemed as though Baker was using the site to get rid of evidence. And finding these jars was just the tip of the iceberg, because that doesn't even begin to explain its dark history. Because this place was already a hotspot for tragedy way before this doctor even arrived. When this place had originally opened up in 1886, it was the pinnacle of luxury. Eureka Springs, Arkansas was one of those towns that really advertised having healing waters and really wanted to attract people that had ailments to come and heal themselves with these waters. So they built this stunning mountaintop hotel. But from the beginning, people were already starting to pass away. Construction workers fell, guests visiting the healing springs often became more sick, and a lot of people wondered if the mountain itself was rejecting the hotel. But despite all the accidents, the Crescent ended up changing hands several times, and at one point even became a women's college. And very unfortunate things continued to happen. A lot of the students during that time sensed that the place was haunted. Even back in the early 1900s, there was reports of shadow figures, footsteps, and there would be fires and illnesses on the campus. The hotel will also share a story about one of the girls who they think was pregnant and jumped, or was potentially even pushed. No one really knows, and no one's actually been able to confirm this story or not. But eventually the school closed and the whole place fell into decay. But in the 1930s, Norman decided to arrive, and he claimed that he could cure cancer without radiation, without surgery, or even real medicine, just with simple injections. So this Crescent Hotel turned into the Baker Cancer Hospital. Patients would check into rooms that used to be suites for guests. The grand ballroom was converted into a treatment area. The basement turned into a morgue, and his treatments were absolutely horrific. He would inject patients with something called Formula 5, which was just this acidic mixture of things that really don't do anything, like tea and glycerin and carbolic acid. These injections were given upwards of 7 times a day to the patients and were extremely painful. A lot of the patients would scream in pain, and he would take them to something called the Annex, which is now suites in the hotel. The carbolic acid use is especially worrying because this is considered to be very toxic. So not only was he not treating their cancer, he was speeding up their deaths. And then post-mortem was illegally giving them autopsies in the basement of the hotel, taking out the tumor and then saying that that's what he treated. He was super infamous for contacting patients' family and trying to get them to pay big sums of money. He claimed absolutely miraculous results while also hiding everything else that was going on in the hospital. Eventually authorities infiltrated, and Baker was exposed for being a fraud. By that time, the Crescent Hotel had pretty much already absorbed another layer of darkness, and he clearly hid a lot of the evidence in the backyard. The damage was done, the patients were gone, the jars were buried, and pretty much everything that is left now in the hotel are ghost stories. And the evidence of ghosts staying in this hotel is strong. The first one being Michael, who was a stonemason who fell to his death while he was building the Crescent, and he fell to what believes to be room 218. The story being that he was allegedly flirting with a woman when he fell. So he tends to be a little bit more of like a ghost bae. He'll flirt with women, he'll try to open up things, close things, flicker the lights, mess with phones. You have one of the nurses, Theodora, who is an organizer. She's over in room 419, and she is known to stack people's change if they leave it out. A lot of the times people will see nurses down the hallway. They'll you'll hear a gurney being pushed. Sometimes people will even see a man in a purple shirt, which is assumed to be Norman Baker because his favorite color of all time was purple. During his time there, he literally painted like the whole hotel purple. People will see a 4-year-old little boy by the name of Brecky over by the stairs, which is said to be the son of the former hotel manager back in the early 1900s. There was also another doctor that used to live there by the name of Dr. Ellis back whenever the place was a resort, and people say that they can still see him or even smell his cigar close to room 212, which used to be allegedly where his office would have been. A lot of people say that they get a lot of interaction in the annex where they used to take people who were in pain, and there was a shadow figure in the basement that was picked up on a very popular paranormal show. A lot of people have reported seeing him motionless in doorways, corners, all along where the basement is. But this place now is essentially brought back to a hotel like what it used to be. So after learning all this, I did the dumbest thing possible and I booked a room there. And I'm going to be taking you guys with me through the Crescent Hotel.
Hi, I'm Neska Forzina, and I'm the world's most tattooed woman, as certified by Guinness World Records, who incidentally are 70 years old this year.
Everything about this is creepy, to be honest. She lost me halfway. And what about those decorations on the wall? This is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. This is all confusing to me. Anyways, y'all, video is now officially over. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.